Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Applied Behavior Analysis virtual information session. My name is Elio Costa, and I'm an assistant director here at Johns Hopkins with the School of Education. And joining us with us today is also Dr. Martyr, who will be speaking here shortly. But we want to welcome everyone to our virtual information session, and thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedules to spend a few minutes or in the next hour or so to learn more about our program. Before I move forward, I do want to let everyone know that this session is being recorded and it will be available on our website within a few business days. So just to give everyone kind of a roadmap of what the next hour to an hour and a half looks like, here is the agenda. As you can see, I'm going to be speaking a little bit about the history and what the Johns Hopkins School of Education looks like. And then I'll go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Martyr, who will give you an in-depth overview of the ABA program along with our featured programs. And then I'll return and kind of give you an overview of what the admission timeline looks like, as well as with our requirements, and speak about our financial aid opportunities and scholarship. We will end the session with a Q&A, so as you kind of sit back and listen in the next hour, if questions arise, feel free to drop them in the chat box, and then at the end of the session, we'll go ahead and field those questions. So a little bit about the School of Education. So we're one of the 10 graduate schools here at Johns Hopkins University. Our enrollment is just under 2,000 students at 1,741. We were started as a graduate school of education in 2007, but we have a long history going back to 1909. Our faculty, we have 109 full-time faculty, 15 are joint, emeriti, or courtesy appointments. We give out about 920 degrees per academic year, and we also have an extensive alumni network of 24,000. At our graduate school, you're going to find a diverse student body. So as you can kind of see on the infographic that we have here, you'll see some of those demographic breakdowns, right, between gender. We have about 24% international students coming from 47 different countries. And then you'll see our breakdown based on ethnicity and race. Additionally, we are proud to say that we are ranked number 8 in the best education schools by the U.S. News and World Reports. So our faculty in special education, you can see on this slide, is Dr. Rebecca Cruz, and then Dr. Tamara Martyr, who's here with us today, and she's also the faculty lead. And then we also have Dr. Alexandra Shelton. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Martyr, who's going to talk a little bit more in depth about our program.
Great. Thank you so much. And nice to meet everybody and have you join us today. I'm excited to talk to you about our ABA programs here at Johns Hopkins School of Education. I'm going to start off talking a little bit about what is ABA, what is Applied Behavior Analysis. All of you are seeking out this information because you are interested in applying to graduate school focused on a program focused on ABA. So I'm assuming that many of you have some understanding of ABA, but I wanted to go over a few finer points because this is really where we are coming from as a program. So when we think about applied behavior analysis, we're really talking about the scientific study of behavior. So those principles of learning and behavior. So pretty much why we do what we do as humans. And when we think about applied behavior analysis, we're thinking about this systematic approach of taking those principles of learning or principles of behavior and applying them to improve socially important behavior for all individuals. So we are a school of education, so we're really looking at the application of behavior analysis within educational settings. That could be traditional school settings or maybe some non-traditional educational settings. One thing that this program leads to is becoming a board certified behavior analyst or a BCBA. And this is a graduate level certification in behavior analysis. And our program enables graduates to be eligible to apply and become board certified in behavior analysis. So where do BCBAs work every day? What type of settings are they in? Typically, we see behavior analysts work in a variety of educational settings with lots of different roles. So if we think about different settings, we say, I think I just mentioned this, K through 12 public and private schools, center-based programs. We've got folks who are BCBAs working in a home-based programs or other school consultation agencies. We also see a variety of roles. So we're thinking about behavior specialists, teacher, special educator, school psychologist, trainer, a staff trainer, professional, someone who's oversees professional development for the staff and faculty, speech and language pathologists, coordinators, home therapists, administrators. So there are a variety of different roles that we see BCBAs fulfilling within educational settings. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So when we think about the services that behavior analysts provide, again, this should be very familiar to you, but we're really looking at behavior analysts providing these services within educational settings, from conducting behavioral assessments to collecting data and making data-based decisions to improve instruction and outcomes for students. Looking at behavior analytic intervention plans, and writing them, revising them, modifying them based on that data, training others to implement those plans, and overseeing the implementation of plans, as well as all of the content that is outlined on the BACB, the Behavior Analyst Certification Board 5th edition task list. So when we think about those services, and if you're thinking about these are areas that you're really interested in learning and growing in to become a professional and to become a behavior analyst, then this is definitely the right place for you tonight. Next slide. Okay, so then another important piece is we're considering what happens once you graduate from an ABA program. What is the employment demand for BCBAs? And the Behavior Analyst Certification Board does put out a jobs report every year, and the annual demand has continued to increase each year since 2010. So we see a 14% overall in the last year from 2022 to 2023. And also in 2023, the demand was highest in these 5 states. But I also looked at some states adjoining us, and you can see here in Maryland, that's a 77% increase, New Jersey's 8% and 12.8%. So that means that there are an increasing number of job postings for people who are looking to fill the role of BCBA. So that's educational settings and schools that are looking to employ BCBAs. So there is a high demand for this field. Okay, next slide. All right, so let's get into our program and what our program offers. If you look at the right-hand side of your screen, you see some circles that says master's degree, ABA coursework, field experience, and pass the exam. And these are the 4 steps that you need to follow to complete in order to become a board-certified behavior analyst. So first, you must have a master's degree. And then once you have that master's degree, you also need to complete ABA coursework that aligns with the BACB requirements. You also have to complete fieldwork experience, and that essentially means that what you have learned in the classroom, you are now applying in an educational setting in the field. And once you have all 3, a master's degree, the coursework, and the fieldwork experience, then you can apply to the Behavior Analyst Certification Board to say, hey, I want to be a BCBA and I want to take this exam. And as long as you hit all of those 3 requirements, you are provided with permission to take the exam. And once you pass, then you become a BCBA, Board Certified Behavior Analyst. So the programs here at Hopkins offer 2 pathways to becoming board certified. One is our Master's in Special Education with an emphasis in ABA. And our second one is a postmaster's certificate in ABA. Our postmaster's certificate is our oldest program and has been around since about 2013, whereas our MS in Special Ed with an emphasis in ABA started in fall 2022. So within the master's program, we have 7 ABA courses, which is a total of 21 credits. In order to pull that into a master's program, we also have 5 special education courses, which is an additional 15 credits. So part of the master's, we also provide that 3rd circle there, fieldwork experience, We also provide the opportunity to enroll in elective courses, the practicum elective courses that enables our students to get that required fieldwork experience. I'm going to talk a little bit more about our practicum courses in a few seconds, but these are elective courses. They are not required to graduate from the program, but they are required if you are seeking to become board certified, right? So you have to hit that third circle of the field experience. Folks can also do that fieldwork experience on their own outside of a university setting, but we'll get to that in a few slides. The Master's in Special Ed, you can complete that in 2 years with that optional third year to do those electives in the fieldwork experience or the practicum electives. The Postmaster's certificate has the same 7 ABA courses as the Master's, so folks in both programs take their courses together. But that's all that it offers because you already have your master's degree. So you're coming into this program already having a master's degree and just needing the 7 ABA courses. The Postmaster certificate also enables folks to enroll in the practicum electives. Again, they are electives, and we have up to 12 credits of practicum electives that folks can enroll in. And then this program also can be completed in 2 years with that optional third year if you're doing the fieldwork experience. Okay, next slide. All of our ABA courses are verified through the Association for Behavior Analysis International. There really are a lot of acronyms. There's a lot to remember. But ABAI looks at all of our coursework and verifies that our coursework aligns with those BACB requirements we were talking about. So we have this verification through December 31st, 2025. And our next slide, talk a little bit about the format. We like to say, and it is true, that our courses are offered in the evenings to meet the needs of the working professionals. So this is a program that is really designed for folks who are going to school part-time and working full-time, if that's the case. But it is designed, again, for the courses to be offered in the evening. So students can work during the day and go to school in the evening. Candidates can also complete the program by taking 2 courses a semester. So part-time would be 2 courses a semester. And if you are working full-time, we definitely do not recommend more than 2 courses a semester in order to be successful within the program. Our ABA courses for both programs are offered in an online synchronous modality. There is an option for folks to join if they want that traditional in-person experience. But all of the courses are designed to be online synchronously, meaning that you are zooming into class kind of like we're doing this evening through this information session. The master's program also has the additional 5 special education courses. Those can be completed either online, asynchronously, or in person. So you do have an option of a few different special education courses that you can take here at the School of Ed. The master's program, the courses are offered during the fall, spring, and summer, while the postmaster's is just those ABA courses are just in the fall and spring. There are no summer courses for that program. Okay, the next slide are some of our learning outcomes. So our programs are designed to prepare educators to become effective teachers and leaders in applied behavior analysis and special education. So some of our outcomes are being able to not only define, but also apply those principles of ABA, to use research methodology to evaluate the outcomes of our programs. So being able to collect data, analyze that data, make data-based decisions, look at graphs of data and determine if behaviors are increasing or decreasing, what is the effectiveness, ultimately determine the effectiveness of the training or the intervention that we're implementing. We also expect our educators to come out of the program being able to design, implement, and evaluate instructional programs, as well as behavior intervention programs. So being able to teach new behaviors, that's just as important as reducing interfering behaviors. We also prepare educators to practice ethically and be able to define what is constituted in the ethics code. And then finally, our students are able to implement, manage, and practice behavior analysis. Specifically, we're focusing specifically on educational settings. Finally, the ultimate outcome of our program is that our students go on to apply to the Behavior Analyst Certification Board and pass that exam. We'll talk about that, some details on that in a little bit as well. So here's the practicum. Again, the practicum electives are not required to graduate from our program. They are electives, so students can elect to take those courses and gain the fieldwork experiences that is required to become board certified. We have students who join us in to complete their practicum electives here within Hopkins, and they enroll in those elective courses with us. You can enroll from anywhere from 1 to 4 courses. You don't have to do all 4. You can choose 1 or 2. And that's typically for folks who work in settings where they may not have a BCBA available to provide the supervision. We also have students that work in organizations or schools where a BCBA supervision is part of the educational environment. So those folks typically will do the fieldwork experiences outside of Johns Hopkins, doing them on their own. And it is possible to do fieldwork experiences without being tied to a university program. So you do have that option. If people have additional questions, what type of option should I choose, then you can definitely, ask those questions of me. But the fieldwork hours, the practicum electives that lead to the fieldwork hours, that help you accrue those hours, if you're familiar with the BACB requirements, follows the concentrated experience fieldwork. If you're not yet familiar with those requirements, I do highly recommend that you check out the BACB website, and that goes through all of the different requirements to becoming board certified, pretty much all that I've talked about so far in our presentation today. And it talks about there's 2 types of fieldwork hours that students of behavior analysis can accrue. One is just a general fieldwork, experience fieldwork, and the other one is the concentrated fieldwork. With the concentrated fieldwork, it seems like it's less hours because it's 1,500 hours, which is a lot of hours, where the general fieldwork experience is 2,000 hours. So people get really excited. Of course, I want to choose the one that's less hours. I want to get done quicker. I want to become board certified. But what the concentrated experience fieldwork provides you with is a less hours that you have to complete, but more supervision time with a supervisor. So with the practicum electives, we provide supervised experiences in the application behavior analysis, again, specific to that educational setting. Many of our students who are working full-time in educational settings elect to do the practicum electives within their place of work. People will always ask me, can I do it in my place of work? And I don't ever say yes, absolutely, because we need to make sure that that practicum placement follows the BACB guidelines for a appropriate practicum placement. And we do this through our practicum coordinator who works with all of our students who are interested in doing fieldwork hours within the Hopkins program. And so we do a thorough evaluation of the practicum site to ensure, or the potential practicum site, to ensure that our students have the opportunity to practice behavior analysis and practice all of those things we talk about that behavior analysts do. We have a practicum coordinator, again, who helps, establish appropriate placements, but also is a liaison between students and their practicum sites. One caveat of the practicum electives is that you must be in the Maryland or DC area. We do not offer practicum as a virtual option, meaning that we don't provide supervision in states outside of Maryland. We have a group of BCBA supervisors who provide that one-on-one supervision for all of our students. We have many supervisors who provide that supervision, and they are local because they're going to the schools and they're working one-on-one with our students in on site. So we don't do any virtual supervision. We can complete the practicum experience across 4 semesters. And if you complete all 4 semesters with the practicum electives, you can accrue 375 hours of supervised experience each semester. And if we think about our math of multiplying that by 4, by the end of the 4 courses, you can have 1,500 hours. You can accrue 1,500 hours. So we break that down across one semester is 15 weeks. Students accrue 25 hours per week. They are provided with 1.5 hours of individual supervision. Those are the BCBA supervisors that we assign to our students. And then we also have 1 hour per week of group supervision through the practicum class. So there is an actual class where you are meeting once a week, and through that meeting once a week, you attain group supervision. So that's an overview of the practicum electives. Again, I do highly recommend that you check out the experience fieldwork requirements that are outlined by the BACB. Okay, so our next slide is, okay, so this slide is what the master's in special ed with an emphasis in ABA looks like. All of the courses that you see here in the special ed program are what we call the autism track, meaning that those courses are all asynchronous online. So, but you don't have to be limited to just the autism track. There are other special ed courses that you can take. If we go to the next slide, which is the postmaster certificate in ABA, I can sort of talk through the ABA courses, which are the same with the master's. So I'm just solely talking about the ABA courses that are offered in both the PMC, the postmaster certificate, and the master's program. In the first year of the program, you take the first 2 courses. This is what we're teaching right now. This semester is Intro to Applied Behavior Analysis in Special Ed and Research Methods. And these are the 2 foundational courses that must be taken before you enroll in any other classes within our ABA program. I always talk about the fall semester. It's like moving to a new country and learning a new language, because that's what we'll be doing. We'll be learning the language of applied behavior analysis and talk about all the different concepts and principles and research methods. Then we move into the second semester of the first year, where we focus in on behavioral assessment and looking at behaviors that interfere with learning and how do we develop intervention for those. And then we do our ethics course, which is a course that's focused on the ethics code for behavior analysts, but it also focuses on professional behavior of behavior analysts. What does that look like? During the second year of the program, if you're in the master's degree, during the summer of the first year, you would take some summer courses in special ed. And then the second year of the program, we come back in the fall, focusing again on behavioral assessment, and this time focusing on skill acquisition and instructional strategies. So behaviors we want to increase, new skills that we want to teach. Students who are enrolling in practicum would then start their practicum in the second year. If students are not doing the electives with us, then they would be taking our supervision and consultation course. And then finally, in the spring semester, we have our applications of ABA in the classroom, which is really looking at specific applications. How do we talk about specific concepts within ABA within education? And also, the other half of that class is focused on preparing for the BCBA exam. So we talk about study strategies, preparation for the exam, and test taking skills. Finally, if you are enrolling in the practicum, then the supervision course would be taken during the fall semester of the third year, because you would be doing behavioral assessment and practicum. And in the third year, we'd be doing the third practicum and supervision and consultation that year. And then the final semester, you would take the applications course and the practicum 4 course. So that's a brief overview of the different courses and what the timeline looks like. So our next slide is some additional information that once students complete those 12 courses for the master's, then you can graduate from the program with a master's in special ed with a focus on ABA. If you are in the postmaster's certificate, you complete the 7 courses and successfully, and then you graduate with that postmaster's certificate. Again, the 4 elective practicum courses are not required to graduate. So if you have the opportunity to do supervision outside of Hopkins, you don't necessarily need to enroll in those practicum courses, but you do need the fieldwork hours in order to become eligible to apply to the BACB for certification. And the last 2 bullets here are really important to point out. Graduates are responsible for applying to the BACB. We as a university do not provide the certification. We do provide the transcripts and the course content and the experience, but graduates who who finish our program are responsible to apply to the BACB and give all the supporting documentation in order to schedule the exam. So we don't schedule the exam for students. Students are responsible for doing that. Again, we do not award the certification in ABA, but it is expected that all students who pursue our program, go through our program, will pursue the certification upon completion of the program. So you can't go through this program without applying to the BACB and becoming certified. You can't complete the program and call yourself a BCBA until you complete that exam. All right, next slide. So people always ask this question, what are the advantages of the program? I think the first thing is that we have a focus on ABA and education. So we are looking at a variety of different disabilities and a variety of different educational settings. But again, the focus is always on how do we implement ABA and practice ABA in educational settings. The second advantage of the program is that our students are passing the exam. So we have a 99% pass rate, and that includes our first and second time candidates. Folks who've taken the exam at least 2 times, pass the exam. I have some more details on the next slide about that. Another advantage of our program is our practicum. Although it is not required to graduate from our program, our practicum provides a supervisor, a BCBA supervisor. We have a course associated with it. We make sure that your experiences are aligned, your practicum experiences are aligned with your own professional experiences so far within the field, and that you also get group supervision as well as a trained supervisor to work with you. And finally, the last advantage of the program that I want to talk about is our faculty. All of our faculty are board certified behavior analysts. They've been BCBAs for many, many years. And they're all BCBAs at the doctoral level. So they all have their doctorate in ABA. And they're all practicing behavior analysis every single day. So just like our students who are working during the day and going to school at night, our faculty are working in the field of ABA and teaching our students in the evening. Okay, next slide. Some program milestones. Since our program started, the postmaster certificate started in 2013 and the master's in 2022. We've had 99 graduates, and they are all representing a variety of educational professionals. I've listed them there, from special educators, behavior specialists, speech and language pathologists. We've had a lot of school psychologists go through our program, administrators, as well as instructional specialists. We have graduated 10 cohorts so far, and 68 are board certified. Just like I was saying in the last slide, 90% of all of our students who have applied to become board certified have passed the exam the first time. For that 10% who have to retake the exam, they will pass it the second time. So of all test takers, opportunities to take the test, we do have a 99 pass rate overall. And the majority of our students who still reside in Maryland are licensed behavior analysts in the state of Maryland. So it's really important to point out that once you become a BCBA, you can also become licensed within your state. So it depends on each state. The majority of the states across the US do have licensure in behavior analysis. So that is something that you should check out for your own state. But within the state of Maryland, we do have licensure as a behavior analyst. So the majority of our students go on and get that licensure to practice behavior analysis within the state of Maryland. Next slide. I think this is my final slide for now. And this is a question that I've gotten many times across the many years of doing our info sessions. And I decided to make it a slide because it's a really great question. And that is, who is an ideal program candidate? So I once had somebody ask me this question. I was like, well, that's a good one. The first thing I would say is somebody who demonstrates a desire and commitment to the field of behavior analysis. If you are looking to go to a program to get 4 more letters to put after your name, and because it's a cool certification and something else you can do, this may not be the program for you. But if you're really interested in how the field of applied behavior analysis can impact students and improve education, then this is definitely the program for you. That commitment is important. Another Another ideal program candidate characteristic is understanding all the requirements to become board certified. I've outlined a few of them for you today, thinking about those different circles of having a master's, the coursework, and so forth. But it's really important that if you have not yet checked out the BACB website, that you do so. There are a lot of requirements and a lot of nuances to it. So make sure that you understand it. You do not have to memorize it, but you definitely have to understand that there are many requirements and understand what they are. Another characteristic is being able to commit to 2 to 3 years of intensive graduate coursework. And this is an intense program. I talk about this every single year, and every year students say, this really is a hard program. This really is intensive. There is, in each class, you will have multiple readings each week, quizzes every single time we meet, at least 2 to 3 papers per semester, and exams. So you definitely have to put in the time to get out of this experience, the best thing that you can get out of this experience, and become board certified. So it is an intensive program. It is a lot of hard work, but it's short term. It's only 2 to 3 years. And then another characteristic is being able to demonstrate the admissions requirements, which we will be talking about to you shortly. And then finally, the final characteristic is really just being willing to work and study hard. Those are the students who are most successful in our program. Okay, I think I'm turning it back over to you. Oh, wait, sorry. What's next? That's me. Make sure to review the BACB requirements. So I think I've said that a few times tonight. Definitely, if that's your takeaway from this evening, please check out those requirements. You can get your application started, and I'm here to support you and answer any questions that you might have. So if you're not sure about should you do practicum, or you have questions about fieldwork, you have questions about our courses or how to apply, please feel free to reach out to me. You can see my email is right there, teammartyr1@jhu. I think that's my last slide, right?
Yep, that is.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Martyr. So I'm going to go ahead and move us on to the next portion of today's virtual webinar and talk a little bit specifically about the admission application requirements. So again, for those of you who might have joined us a little bit late, my name is Elia Acosta. I'm an assistant director here at Johns Hopkins within the admissions office. I'm really here to help and guide you as you kind of begin your journey in the admissions process. But our application is live. Our deadline is July 15th of 2025. So you do have ample time to begin kind of collecting some of these documents that I will be talking about here in a bit. But typically in a candidate, we are looking for a minimum cumulative GPA of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. And this includes from all previous undergraduate and graduate studies. So even if you only attempted credits at a university and withdrew, right, we will still be looking at that GPA. Additionally, you can apply online through our website, and I'll kind of provide a link here at the end of our webinar. And then there is also an $80 application fee in order for us to review your application. So apart from the online application, we will require you to no surprise, right, for you to submit your official transcripts. They do have to be official. We do not take unofficial transcripts, so please make sure that when you're reaching out to your post-secondary institutions, right, that they do send us official transcripts directly to the Graduate School of Education. Additionally, there is an essay and personal statement, or essay/personal statement, I should say, as part of the application. And you're going to find a prompt there. We're essentially going to ask you, hey, why are you looking at our program? And essentially, how does our program align with your career goals and your educational goals? We also will ask you to kind of identify your strengths and weaknesses within your educational background, and also allow you to kind of give us any additional information that you think is important for us to know as we review your application that we won't necessarily see on your transcripts. So again, that personal statement essay is there for your use. We do ask that you write at least 500 words. And if you have any questions about that piece, feel free to reach out to the admissions office. But apart from that personal statement, we also will require a resume and a cover letter, 2 letters of recommendation, right? So you want to find individuals who can speak to your ability to work with children with disabilities. And then there's also an interview portion. This interview portion can either be in person or through Zoom. But at this point, right, through that interview, we really just want to make sure that your career and educational goals align with our program. We want to make sure that we're a good fit, both for you and for us. And to hopefully to kind of lighten the load in terms of the application process, we do not require a GRE, and we will not take a GRE either. So again, hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to submit an application to our program. I do want to take some time here and talk about the tuition and fees. So what you see here is a tuition and fees for 2024 to 2025. As Dr. Martyr mentioned earlier, our program, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is 36 credits. So the slide that you see here, you'll see a breakdown of face-to-face, right? Instruction cost per credit is around $1,000 and some change. Cost per course, which traditionally is a 3-credit course, is going to be around $3,258. If you do take online courses with us, there is an additional $20 per credit tech fee. So that does put the entire 3-credit course at $3,318. We do like to make all applicants and candidates aware that there is a $175 fee per semester that's required in order to register for courses. And as I mentioned before, there is an $80 application fee. You can find more information about our tuition and fees on our website. And as you kind of begin this journey of applying to Johns Hopkins, we do have a director of financial aid who can work with you to make sure that you understand how tuition and fees work and all of the financial aspects, right, of a graduate program. The other piece that I do want to touch base on is financial aid and scholarships. So as a side note, 82% of our degree-seeking students in the School of Education do borrow graduate loans through the federal financial aid. And we encourage all students to complete the FAFSA every year. And as first-time applicants, right, as you're working on your application for admissions, we encourage you to also work on your FAFSA. So that way we can review you for any endowed scholarships within the School of Education. The endowed scholarships are limited and partial and need-based. So that review will happen automatically as you submit an application. After your first year, there is a separate application for scholarships that you can complete. And once you're a student here, you'll receive more guidance on how to complete that application. But as always, we always encourage all candidates and applicants to look at external scholarship and resources. So on our slide here, we have scholarship.com and teacher.org that we strongly encourage you all to take a look at to find various ways to fund your graduate level education. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Dr. Martyr, who's going to talk a little bit more about Project Enrich.
Okay, so thank you. Another opportunity that we have for scholarship for this upcoming fall is what we call Project Enrich. And this is a training grant through the Office of Special Education. So it's a federal grant that is designed to train school-based related service personnel to practice ABA in school settings by also training them to implement culturally and linguistic responsive evidence-based practices. So we're really excited about this opportunity. This is a 5-year grant that funds 2 cohorts going through our program. Our first cohort just started this fall. And so we are looking to recruit for our second cohort. So if you are interested in being a board certified behavior analyst working within a school setting and you work or either currently work or are interested in becoming moving into a related service personnel position, that's like a school psychologist or a special educator, speech and language pathologist, behavior specialist, instructional specialist, This could be an option for you for not only training, but scholarship. So the goal of this project, of Project Enrich, is to increase the number of BCBAs working in school settings. So that is definitely a requirement to be able to work in a school setting. You don't have to be working in a school setting now, but ultimately you would be once you graduate from the program or during the practicum. This training grant provides training and culturally responsive instruction or intervention for children with disabilities who have high intensity needs. The benefits of being a scholar in Project Enrich is that it provides tuition support, 100% tuition support for the program. And this is primarily just the postmaster certificate in applied behavior analysis. There's also additional stipends to support students' coursework materials and books and other requirements that are needed throughout graduate school. As part of the Project Enrich program, we also do require that our scholars do the fieldwork experience. So they do need to be local and doing the fieldwork experience and the practicum electives with us. That tuition is covered. We also provide advanced academic workshops looking at really specific topics in working and serving diverse populations, as well as practicing the implementation of culturally responsive interventions. So we do that through academic workshops. We also have cohort advising. And there's also a mentorship program where we are pairing current scholars with graduates from the program, which is a really important piece of networking within the program. So if you are interested, please reach out to me. We do have an information session coming up in October 9th, in 2 weeks from now. So I'm putting in the link for that. If you are interested in finding out more about Project Enrich, you can register today for that info session, where we are just solely going to be talking about Project Enrich and its benefits and all the different components of that program and the eligibility to apply. So we really are so glad folks are here tonight. We want folks to understand the ABA program. And then if you are interested in Project Enrich, we would invite you to come and join us for that information session on October 9th. I just shared that in the chat, that link. Okay, Elliot, I'll hand it back over to you.
Was muted there for a second, but awesome. Thank you, Dr. Martyr. So at this point, we will go ahead and take questions. So if you have general questions about anything that we covered, whether it's the content of the program or the admissions process, feel free to drop them in the chat box, and we'll go ahead and field those. And as people are kind of perhaps, thinking about what to ask, and please do not hesitate. Dr. Marty, if you don't mind, I can ask you just a question that I typically get from students as I meet with them. I think one question I get is, right, the program is part-time and it's 2 courses per semester. Is there flexibility or is there an ability for a student to take more than 2 courses per semester and speed up the process?
Absolutely not, because each course really builds on the next course, the 2 courses a pretty big load to begin with. So we really advise you can't take let's say a course from the spring semester until you complete the courses in the fall semester. So each course builds on itself. So we cannot move along any faster than how it is designed. So it's definitely a 2-year program for sure.
Thank you. As folks are typing their questions, and again, please do not hesitate. I think I just saw one come in. So, and I'll field this to you, Dr. Martyr. So someone is asking, they're interested in the certificate program. Are all courses offered virtually or local to Southern Maryland?
Sorry, I was muted that time. Yeah, so our classes are offered synchronously online, so you can join virtually. It's just like we're doing today using Zoom. You can Zoom into our classrooms and join us virtually. So that is a great option if you are in Southern Maryland.
So we have another question here. So if they're interested in Project Enrich, do they need to apply now and apply for financial aid?
So if you're interested in Project Enrich, definitely come join us for October 9th. There is more information on our website about Project Enrich. If you look under our scholarship page, there is a page solely for Project Enrich. The first step is getting accepted into the ABA, the Postmaster Certificate in ABA program. While you are applying to the program, we do recommend that our students, our applicants complete the grant interest form, which is essentially applying for the grants. And then also you are required to complete the FAFSA. So on our website, there's lots of information about Project Enrich. While we go to the next question, I can probably pull up that link as well to share with everybody. You will need to do 3 things. And one is apply to the program, PMC and ABA, and you must be accepted to be considered for Project Enrich. And while you apply to the program, also complete that FAFSA form. And then, because it is based on need and becoming a scholar, we have to demonstrate need to provide that scholarship, and then also the grant interest form. So while we'll field the next question, I'm going to quickly grab that Project Enrich site to add to the link to add to the website. I'm sorry, the chat.
Okay. So the next question that we have here, and I'll just read this out for everyone who's attending. If you apply, do you have to begin in the fall? So our program does start only in the fall. So the next opening would be for the fall of 2025, with the application deadline being July 15th of 2025. So we do need a complete application by July 15th. That includes all official transcripts, your online application, and your 2 letters of recommendation, and then also your personal statement/essay. So we have another, and I can field this one. Another question is, if someone is graduating in December 2025, should they wait until next fall to enroll, or can they enroll in the spring? So you would have to wait to enroll for the fall of 2026. We do not take openings in the spring. And then Dr. Marta, I'm going to field this one to you. So we do have a question asking specifically about the certificate program, if that also is a 2 to 3 year process for completing the coursework.
Yeah, so it's 2 years to complete all of the ABA courses. If you are planning to do the practicum electives through Hopkins, it would add an additional 1 year, 2 semesters. So again, if you're doing the electives with us, plan on a 3-year process. If it's just the ABA courses as part of the certificate, that's 2 years. And then I also added in the webinar chat, the website, the Project Enrich website that has additional information for that last person who was asking those questions about Project Enrich, and anybody else who's interested.
And I'm going to go ahead and drop a link just with some additional information about the admission details. So I know I shared that one slide with everyone about what we look for and what is considered a complete application. That link that I just put there in the chat box will give you that same information with further detail. And again, we're here to kind of guide you through this entire process. So if at any point you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to the admissions office. And I know Dr. Marta also offered her contact information if you have specific questions related to the program itself. But again, we're always happy to connect. And I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and close the program. And again, thank you everyone for attending here today. And we look forward to receiving your applications and connecting as we move forward. Thank you, everyone.